Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Dentistry to the Point. This is Dr. Drumil Manik. So today's topic of our discussion is varicella, that is known as chickenpox. We've already discussed the latency part or the virus after the latency period, what it leads to, that is herpes zoster. This is the previous part of that virus, that is primary infection caused by varicella zoster, that is chickenpox, right? So starting with first the introduction and etiology of the disease. So chickenpox, what it is? Again, it is an acute, ubiquitous, extremely contagious disease. What it is? It is acute. Again, it is going to act very fast. It is extremely contagious. That means it is going to spread very easily and usually occurring in children and characterized by exanthematous vesicular rashes, right? So in this also you will see vesicle formation which will again rupture and lead to ulcer, right? So it is again an acute, extremely contagious disease seen in children characterized by vesicular rash formation. So the primary infection of varicella zoster virus, the causative organism is which one? Varicella zoster virus, which was responsible for herpes zoster also. The only difference between the smallpox or varicella and herpes zoster is that the primary infection of varicella zoster virus will lead to chickenpox, and after the virus is in the body for some time and during the adulthood, again if the virus is reactivated from the dorsal root ganglia as we studied in our previous video, then it may lead to herpes zoster, shingles or zona, right? So there are two forms of the disease. First is the primary infection which will lead to chickenpox, which will have broader involvement, right? It is going to involve almost the whole body, whereas the spinal cord, the dorsal root ganglia, when it is involved, so it will show a unilateral lesion as we have seen in herpes zoster. So this is about the causative organism and two different categories, right? Now it is most commonly seen in winter and spring months, right? Again, it has the climatic association with it. Winter and spring months are the most common time where you can see most of the cases of chickenpox, right? The incubation period of this virus is approximately 2 weeks. And next, the virus is same as that of herpes zoster. I have already explained. The virus is going to be same, only difference is primary activation chickenpox, secondary reactivation leads to herpes zoster, and the lesions of the two disease have many features in common. That means the varicella infection as well as the herpes zoster, the lesions are almost similar, but only thing is the herpes zoster will have unilaterality of lesions, whereas chickenpox will have broader involvement of the lesions. The relationship between these two diseases in this is discussed under herpes zoster. I hope you guys have watched the video of herpes zoster. If you have not watched, I would advise you to watch this herpes zoster video after varicella zoster. So the primary mode of entry of varicella zoster virus in children is due to respiratory tract, that is due to droplet spread or due to direct contact with the lesion or virus, right? So there are two main forms through which the virus can enter into your body or the children's body, that is through droplet spread or due to direct contact with the lesion. So once the virus is in the body, it is going to enter the blood vessel. Due to T cell viremia, it is going to cause the primary infection, that is known as chickenpox. Then the virus is going to stay in the dorsal root ganglia as a dormant state or in the latency period. Once this latency period is over and some trigger factor leads to reactivation of this virus, then it can lead to herpes zoster. Next, moving on to the clinical features. So the first and the foremost clinical feature is that it will have some primary symptoms, right? It is not going to directly start with vesicle formation. The disease is characterized by prodromal occurrence of the children may have headache, nasopharyngitis and anorexia. Nasopharyngitis because the infection or the virus is going to enter into the body through droplet spread. Following these three main symptoms, it will lead to maculopapular or vesicular eruptions of skin, and along with that the child may also have low grade fever, right? So it may lead to maculopapular, or you can just say that vesicular eruptions on the skin, along with which the child may have low grade fever. Now these vesicles are going to occur in successive crops. That means all the vesicles are not going to occur at single time. At some part of the body the vesicles will start forming today, after 2-3 days in another part of the body. So it is going to act successively. एक के बाद एक vesicles होते जाएंगे. So they occur in successive crops, so that many vesicles in different stages of formation or resorption may be formed. That means one vesicle which is formed today and one vesicle which is formed after 3 days, it will have different stages. That means the vesicle which is formed today may rupture after 3 days, and the one which is formed after 3 days may rupture at 6th day. So the vesicles you may see will be in different stages. In the same way, this disease also occur in two stages. Firstly, the vesicles will only be seen in the truncal part of the body. It is mainly going to affect the trunk part of the body, following which the vesicles are going to spread into whole of the extremities, face, and everywhere along the body, right? So the vesicles are going to occur in successive crops. Now there are three different stages which is going to occur in this vesicle, right? Firstly, there will be a red blister formation, that is macule or papule, after which there will be a my mistake. Firstly, there will be a red spot, that is a macule or papule, following which there will be blister or vesicle formation, and once this vesicle is ruptured, it will lead to an hard crust, right? It is going to lead to a hard crust formation when the vesicle is going to rupture. So the lesions of the skin eventually rupture and form a superficial crust and heal by desquamation, right? The skin is going to be removed, that is known as desquamation. There will be squamation of the epithelial cells. So the lesions of the skin will rupture eventually and will lead to superficial crust formation, which will heal by desquamation. The disease runs its clinical course in a week to 10 days, right? So the clinical course of disease is 7 to 10 days. What was the incubation period? Incubation period was 2 weeks, and seldom after which there will be little bit effects of this disease, but mainly the clinical course will be of week to 7 to 10 days. Next, see, these are the different stages of vesicle. First, there will be reddish discoloration, red spot, macule, which will eventually lead to a formation of papule. Again, moving on further, it will lead to fluid filled vesicles which will rupture. See, this is known as, see, these vesicles are fluid filled. Once they are going to rupture, it will be appearing as a crust formation, right? And after which there will be desquamation of the skin. So in this process, the varicella zoster infection is going to occur. First, there will be macule, second papule, third vesicle, and lastly crusting of the lesion. Now mainly concentrating on the oral manifestation. So in the oral cavity also the lesions are going to be somewhat similar. You will see small blister like lesions occasionally in the oral mucosa. Which are the target sites in the oral mucosa? That is buccal mucosa, tongue, gingiva, that is upper and lower gingiva, and along with that hard palate also. See, this is the image of oral cavity lesions. You will see a reddish discoloration, right? Blister formation, along with which there will be surrounding erythema, that is redness around the lesion. So the mucosal lesions initially they are like slightly raised vesicles with a surrounding erythema. See, these are the slightly red vesicles which is having redness around it, and they are going to rupture soon after formation and form small eroded ulcers with a red margin, and they are going to closely resemble the lesions of aphthous ulcer, right? So it is going to be similar which was occurring in skin. Only difference is that the sites are going to be different, like buccal mucosa, tongue, upper gingiva, lower gingiva, and hard palate. So first there will be blister formation, then vesicle formation, and this vesicle will rupture and lead to formation of small eroded ulcers with red margin. Next, now there might be some complications of this disease, right? So firstly, the bacterial complications due to streptococcal or staphylococcus lead to severe superinfection and scarring. The respiratory complications like pneumonia and bronchitis, you will have ear infections, and along with that the other complications like myocarditis, nephritis, arthritis, and bleeding diathesis. There are also some neurological disorders like encephalitis, transverse myelitis, Guillain-Barré syndrome, and Ray's syndrome. So these are the complications, bacterial complications due to Staphylococcus as well as Streptococcus virus, pneumonia and bronchitis, ear infections, and neurological disorders like encephalitis, transverse myelitis, Guillain-Barré syndrome, and Ray's syndrome. Lastly, moving on to the treatment. So the treatment should be mainly concentrated on relieving the symptoms of the patient, right? Symptomatic relief should be the utmost priority to the disease, after which you can also give some counter pain medicine that are going to reduce the pain, like ibuprofen or acetaminophen can be given. Along with that, when you're dealing with the rash in small children, it is very much challenging because the children is going to have a hard time. It is not, he or she is not going to be able to scratch the skin, right? So it is going to be very challenging to treat a small child. So there are various measures or options which you can use, like soaking in tub of cool water mixed with colloidal oatmeal or baking soda, applying calamine lotion directly to the blisters. Oral antihistamines like Benadryl can also be given for respiratory symptoms. It is also vital to keep kids their fingernails very short and clean, right? There might be the site of inoculation of some dirt and deposits which might lead to again this disorder. Sometimes it's necessary to treat people who are at risk of becoming seriously ill from chickenpox, as we discussed about the various complications. So the person or the patient who is severely immunocompromised can develop such complications. So it is very much important to treat very carefully. For example, an antiviral medication called Verizig, that is mainly for varicella zoster, it is known as varicella zoster immunoglobulin, can also be used. Lastly, because the varicella virus is so highly contagious, that means it can spread very easily. The first obvious way is to protect yourself, right? You need to stay away and also keep other family members away from the patient as long as the person's blisters are active. That means whenever still the vesicles are present, the vesicles have not ruptured, the patient can spread the infection to the other people, right? We saw in the transmission that direct contact with the lesion can also lead to chickenpox. So the first and the foremost thing is protect yourself and all the family members. Along with that, you need to also keep a watch on the blisters or vesicles. Once they are ruptured, still you need to keep a distance from the patient. For most everyone, however, the best way to prevent chickenpox is the varicella vaccine, which is nowadays common along with the mumps, measles and rubella vaccine. So these are the some points which we need to keep in mind according to varicella zoster, that is chickenpox. This was all about varicella zoster. I hope you guys have understood the topic. It is quite easy. It's very simple. Primary infection of varicella zoster virus leads to chickenpox. There are going to be some prodromal symptoms, after which there will be blister, there will be macule or papule, then vesicle formation. Once the vesicle will rupture, it will lead to an ulcer, right? Same thing is also going to happen in the oral cavity. There are some specific sites like buccal mucosa, gingiva, tongue and palate. And regarding the medication, mainly nowadays we have vaccine for chickenpox, so where are very rare cases of chickenpox are seen. But again, the latency period after the virus is reactivated in adulthood, it can lead to herpes zoster. So this was all about the topic. I hope you guys have understood. If you guys have any doubt regarding this topic, please let us know in the comment section. And at last, if you enjoyed the video, then please like, share and subscribe our channel. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you are the first one to get notified when we upload the new video. Thank you so much.